Last night, the Lakers decisively beat the Heat in Game 6, securing their 17th championship in the history of the franchise, and tying the Boston Celtics for most championships won by a franchise. And while LeBron balled out with another triple-double in the finals, and winning finals MVP as we expected, Rajon Rondo turned back the clock 12 years to his championship season in Boston. Coming off the bench in the first quarter, he quickly made an impact with 2 layups and forcing a turnover in transition for the Heat. But Rondo's impact goes to his leadership as well, and I'm sure this has been key for the Lakers all the way through the playoffs, not just in Game 6. Andy said in his post-game interview that him and LeBron being able to push each other has been huge for their success this playoff season. And it's interesting to see Rondo and LeBron work so well together after the rivalry they had when Rondo was in Boston. And of course, we can't forget this photo, which is aged very, very well. But back to Game 6, Rondo was great from 3, making 3 out of the 4 shots he attempted, and being a career 31% shooter from 3, this was very impressive. What shocked me as well was how easily he was getting to the basket, even when the likes of Jimmy Butler was guarding him, who was a renowned great defensive player. One of the plays of the night as well were by Rondo with this lovely spin move on Bam Adebayo. But arguably the most dominant player on the court last night was Anthony Davis. On the defensive end, he was able to sit in the paint a good 6 feet away from Bam as he knew he wouldn't shoot it, and he just cut off any pass opportunities and heavily contest or block shots. And he had a great rebounding game on both ends as well, with 11 defensive rebounds and 4 offensive rebounds, which often led to extra baskets. And although he went 0 for 3 from behind the arc, he still hit some nice mid-range jumpers and a couple of tough fadeaways. And of course, I can't not talk about the king, LeBron James, who virtually played point guard last night how he often does, and could just bully Jimmy Butler or whoever was guarding him, and back them down either into a layup or LeBron's beautiful fadeaway that he's mastered. I just hope LeBron keeps this level up for as many seasons as possible, as it's such a privilege to be able to watch LeBron in his prime, and it may be many, many decades before we see anything like LeBron again. But going on to the Miami Heat's mistakes, they shot terribly from the free throw line, only making 59% of their shots. And unfortunately, Tyler Hero did not turn up at all, shooting 30% from the field with some bad misses that he'd usually make. And Jimmy didn't look to be the same player at all to me. When they got down 20 plus points, they were still only in the second quarter and had not lost the game yet, but judging by Jimmy and all the other Heat players' body language, they'd already lost. But this was still a winnable game. When there was 5 minutes left in the second quarter, they were down 16, and as the Lakers didn't shoot great either, only making 48% of their shots from the field, only 4% better than Miami Heat's 44.3%. And the Lakers didn't really get to the free throw line much either, only shooting 14 shots from there, and again shooting quite a poor 64.3% from the free throw line, with LeBron only making 1 of 4 shots from there. But as incredible as Jimmy has been in the playoffs, Game 6 was not his night, and it really comes down to him not shooting enough, as he only attempted 10 shots from the field. But in both of their wins against the Lakers, Jimmy shot 19 and 20 shots, and he also got fouled a lot more in the previous wins than he did in Game 6, shooting 14 free throws in their Game 3 victory, 12 free throws in their Game 5 victory, but then only 3 free throws in Game 6. This is mainly down to him not driving to the basket as much, and because LeBron was guarding him for the majority of this game, whereas in other games it was KCP or Kuzma who was guarding him, who were much weaker than LeBron. And I noticed a lot how they'd screen for Jimmy and get so many different Lakers guarding him throughout Game 5, and this opened up their offense so much more, and I'm surprised they didn't do this more in Game 6 for Jimmy. But even though they couldn't finish the job, this playoff run by the Heat has been one of the most impressive in recent times, and with the playoffs being in the bubble, this championship will be one of the most memorable in history.